All right, so today's class is going to be dealing with the first two plays of Zhogo Largo. Zhogo Largo and Fiore Zhogo are the long plays. Zhogo games, or plays. Largo meaning long. As compared to Zhogo Stro, which are the constrained plays. And we'll talk about the constrained plays some other time. But essentially, the way Fiore has the book set up is that he first talks about the guards, the positions you can hold the sword, and the things you can do from those positions. Wow, whatever. After that, he has just before that, he talks about the starts of the sword, which there are two descending, one from each side, two rising, one from each side, two middle blows, one from each side, for discussion later, and a thrust. 7 blows of the sword. So he describes the blows of the sword, he describes the turns of the body, turns of the sword. Very, very briefly. He gives you 12 guards, and then Zhogo Largo. He has this nice little paragraph that says, "I'm the long sword in 2 hands, and I'm deadly, and this is my art, blah, blah, blah." Fiore is the Don King of late 14th, early 15th century. Like his intro is, "I'm awesome! Here's why I'm awesome. These are my students. Here's why they're awesome." Thank you. It's also a good Fiore impression. Yeah. He were black in the 21st century.
Yeah.
Say that like from black people in Italy in the 15th century.
Well, they probably didn't speak like African Americans. That was super.
Probably not, but you never know.
What do I know?
So, and I am the sword deadly against all weapons, neither spear nor pole axe or dagger can prevail against me. I can strike long or short, I can held it. No way I have pass over tricks and move to close range, blah, 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 blah. And then he talks about the first 2 plays. The first 2 plays start off with the swords crossed, roughly at the tips. Cross at the tips just means roughly the last third and the cross. How we get here doesn't really matter, but it also matters a whole lot. So we're going to play around with how we get here. But for the sake of the argument on the play, this is where we are for the start of the play. And Fiore says, from here, I can either stab you in the face, or cut around to the hand and arms. From here, you can stab you in the face, or chest, cut around to the head and forearms. You look at that question.
No. We can just think about it in the concept.
Fair.
I'm trying to focus on it's gonna be a little bit. Well, I was getting ahead a couple times and all, we did.
All right, so the action makes sense, yeah? Action makes sense? Cool. Mask and gloves. So, often for classes, I build complexity in the middle and end of the actions that we're doing. I change up a little bit of that middle section so we have different options. I change the end goal, like trying to stab in the face, cut the ground, trying to keep them from doing that to you, blah, blah, blah. Today's class is going to be a lot more about changing the complexity of the entry. How we got to that position. And I want us to be wearing masks and gloves so that we can do the thing that we're trying to do. But we're going to start with our swords roughly crossed at that point. And we are going to fairly kindly, fairly gently, stab the other person in the face, or cut the cuff of the glove. So for this cut, right now, I want you to aim about here. Just behind the wrist. So on your glove, about here. Maybe back of the hand if you miss it, but mostly the cuff. Make sense? When you cut around, you're aiming for the cuff of the glove.
Right.
Don't aim with your own because, well,
Yeah.
I got bruises already. We don't have to bruise on watch bruises. But we're going to start here. And that side is going to start by thrusting into the mask. And then you're going to give it slight pressure so that point is offline to give them an opportunity to cut around and first. So you're going to do it once and then the other person does it.
Nice. Well,
All right.
what do I do with my feet?
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
I wanted to let you play with that and go, oh, something weird's happening. Because you're both going to be doing something with this. Pardon me. So, in the pictures that Fiore has, the person acting has the left foot forward. And the left foot remains forward. Remains over. Bye-bye. So, we're here. I would out here, again, we don't have right now. For me to get that thrust in, I want to drive forward and off and extend. So, switch your feet. There you go. And for that cut around, you come offline. Here, let's use we got compasses. So, we're here. And a step this way. We can call it a gathering step because I'm stepping forward and I'm gathering my foot behind it, but it's pulling me across that center line. And in fact, that thrust is also the same footwork, still stepping across that center line. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Cool. Give it a try.
Sure.
Alright, so swords across, you get your eye got there. So, look at your feet.
So,
You want to step
offline.
offline and forward.
Offline forward.
You want to step into that bind, into that sword.
Right.
Yep.
So I want to. Okay. I'm trying.
Yep, one more time. Cool. Switch roles. Jeff, you get stabbing. So on switch feet, there you go. A little bit further, a little bit closer. There you go. You want to get about that last third of the sword. fine on that side.
Okay.
I mean, you did the right thing, Jeff. You want to step into the sword no matter what, but
Well, not foot forward, he's gonna switch feet now.
no, he's going to be right forward. Think of this. We're actually, yeah, for right now. If you started left foot forward and you came up like this and made that cover, your left foot was forward, his right foot was
Like
forward.
I wanted it out. Okay, yeah, okay.
There you go. Now, do the same thing. Resist his sword. I want you to push back against it once he started coming forward.
Okay. So he's coming at me.
He's coming at you. He's still going to be thrusting. But as soon as you start to feel that pressure coming in, I want you to try to resist it. Now, here's a complication for you. If you can beat the timing and get that thrust in, you want to complete that thrust. If you start that action and you're getting pushed offline, cut around. Because your footwork's the same. But I want you to feel that pressure. Yep. You're going to be doing the same thing now. So, switch your feet. You're good. Cool. Yep. You can get a little bit, I can't believe I'm saying this.
Get a little closer.
You can get a little bit closer. Actually, we're going to actually enter this now. So, Zhogo Largo starts with a body. That's where the picture shows up. How we got there doesn't really matter. It does, but it doesn't. It gets. How we get there only matters insofar as how we got there will have a tendency to leave us in certain positions that will give us an opportunity to do certain things. It's a very long-winded way of saying that the way we get here will lead to certain actions easier than others. So, we're both standing, and most of you did on. Take a small step back. And I'm going to make a cut in, seeking his sword. We'll talk about why that's important in a moment, but I'm going to take that aggressor, I'm going to step through, and I'm going to cut. Without taking a step, I want you to respond to my sword. And this is roughly how you get into that line at the last third of the sword. Now, my right foot forward, your left foot is forward. Can you stab it? There you go. Oh. There you go. So that, go ahead and cut it at me. Made a cover. Just I'm not a steep step, I do step in that foot. I'm right here, and I got this straight line. Now I can make that passing step. I can also step into it and cut around as soon as that opportunity presents itself. I can also be up here when I start that and make that cover. Not super important. But for right now, the way we're going to enter this is we're both going to start in post feet on. So we're at the right shoulder, over here, doesn't really matter, up here. One is going to attack, the other is going to intercept it with this small step into it. And Jeff, I want you to make a good cut. I want you to step through that center line
Yeah.
when you make this.
I probably should be doing that normally.
Yep. Now, from here, I had this nice easy move. Jeff has made a passing step. And we can thrust in with a step. And when you cut around, or when you thrust in really, but when you do this, bring your back foot behind you. I mean, even if I did a passing step and did this, my back should be behind me. The reason we don't do a passing step for this is because if I do this, you know, I'm cutting around and Jeff cuts in at me, I'm not protected. If Jeff cuts in like this, I'm protected. I can respond to that sword easier. Make sense? Make sense? All right, so I'm going to step in and cut at you. Put my suit on. Oh, because that's going to start for now. There you go.
I was wondering if you wanted to go my way to try to get the glass first, or...
Go for what is available. I'm going to make a slightly easier cut. There you go. One more.
How the crossbar.
All right. Yeah, we'll rotate. I'll get through with. So, with three of us, one of us is always going to be out watching. If you're not actively in the drill, your job is to watch. Actively watch. Actively go. What's going on? How is this turning out? What is one person doing? What's all the little stuff that Patrick's doing that he's not actually telling me he's doing? There's much. I apologize. Alright, so I'm going to step in and make a cut without a passing step.
Forward.
Now, we'll cross here. If you can get that point straight in. Yep. So we'll do that again. This time I want you to, instead of doing a passing step for the thrust, I want you to do that gap step.
So do I do that to meet you, or do I do that on the thrust? I guess it's all the same thing.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So that gather step, I'll do it
Yeah.
just here, and then I will continue through. Because as a gathering step, it's just, and I can do this all day long.
Yeah.
Very good. Good. So that cut around.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember how to do the cut around? How do you do it?
The Shakira.
Is that?
Shakira, right? Or is that...
No, we did go on.
Oh. Yeah.
So, your sword has a pommel. That pommel is a pendulum. A quick way to cut around. So if you're in a bind, I can leave the bind by moving that pommel towards the sword. And then push it forward and pull it back. You have this very quick motion. And I'm not working my bicep, working that shoulder the entire time. I'm able to make that cut around. And how that's going to feel is if you're in bind and you start to thrust it and I push it offline, you see how that pommel's already coming
Yeah.
down?
It's like,
It's helping to turn it around.
yeah.
So we'll do that one more time. And now I get to do it to you.
Okay.
So. There you go. All right. So now you're going to cut it at me.
So, you want me to do that step?
Yep. Go ahead and make a small step down, step through, make that cut down. I did that thing, I did do a passing step, I'm gonna do that again. Oh, sorry, that was a little more detail on it, that was a problem.
It's okay.
All right, one more. So, you know how I said it doesn't matter how he gets to that bind? I just did this. I'm like, I'm gonna put my sword out there. He's gonna cut in at it, and then I'm just gonna do the thing. It works. You two do this with each other once, a couple times each. You looking for it?
Sure.
Pop right in there.
But I'm like too close. It's like I'm like.
Oh, yeah. So, I guess, look at where you're crossed when you get to that spot.
Okay.
Because if you're crossed too deep,
Yeah.
that cut around gets a lot harder.
Yeah.
And, I'll just check because.
That's a good question.
Yeah, if you get too close, you actually have to make a step, a passing step in order to make certain things land. It gets,
Yeah.
it's actually not a cut around when you get too deep. It's just stepping into the sword.
One more.
Okay, well,
That'd be 5. And you put it in?
oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm like thinking
You
about.
were right there.
It's this one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you can make that small step out with that first foot.
Yeah.
And then step through to see some space.
Oops, sorry about that. It's fine. I'm just, my brain gets a little slow and I should think my things.
All right. Off the masks. Get some water. Because 2 tangents. Not tangents. They're actually related to what we're doing. Get some water.
You have very insightful awareness. I really like it. Jealous.
So,
You're able to pick up on the exact question, the exact essential of what you need to ask and who, right? When I started off, I was not able to hear that. It's just, that's something I noticed was good.
So, we need to talk about distance and measure and range. They're similar concepts, but they're slightly different.
What are those, Patrick?
They're the things that determine how we can interact with another person. Measure is a proportional thing for you, your arm length, your stature, position, and your sword length. And that measure determines when you can start to interact with the other person. So partner, or whatever. Distance is the absolute distance between me and Jeff. So, we are standing about 6.5 feet apart. With our different sword lengths, one of us will be in measure before the others. Usually. Because we're about the same height, about the same wingspan.
I'm actually naked.
Oh, maybe 2. I'm positive so. Okay, I have a slightly longer reach. There's a thing called the 8 index. Extend, arms outstretched. From fingertips to fingertip, the proportionality is fingertips, fingertip, outstretched is your height.
You ever go to conservation, like field trips back in high school, and they had the wooden murals of the like birds?
At the zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's in climbing, it's called the 8 index.
That's right.
Yeah. Whatever your outstretched reach is, compared to your height, is your 8 index. So if your outstretched reach is the exact same as your height, you have an 8 index of 0.
I'm negative 2, so my arms are shorter about 2 inches than they should be.
2 inches then is height. Mine are 2 inches longer than my height. So I have a wingspan of about 6 feet.
Well, there's the 4 inches out of 2 sword then.
A little bit, maybe. But our body position changes our reach. But with different heights, different reaches, different body positions, different sword lengths, determines our measure. So a shorter fencer with a shorter sword doesn't get into measure until they've already gotten past into measure with you. They have to be closer, of course, around with your sword in an equal way, and closer across the you. Which comes to the other side of the definition of measure. So we have measure as it relates to range. What is your range of your gun? We also have the measure as it relates to how we interact with the other person. And there are roughly 4 measures. Out of measure, meaning with a step and a cut, our swords are not really going to meaningfully interact with each other. I call it first measure. I'm not sure it's an actual thing, it's just a nice way for me to conceptualize it. First measure is I can, with a step and a cut, interact with my opponent's sword and possibly their outstretched arms. But meaningfully interact with the opponent's sword. Second measure is with a step, either a passing step or a gathering step, I can meaningfully interact with my sword with their corporeal body. Stab in the face, cut in the head, whatever. The third range, I can meaningfully interact with their limbs or body with my limbs. Not necessarily needing the length of the sword to do so. Roughly 4 distances. And that second distance, or second range, where I can hit them, we can subdivide into, I can stab them, I can cut them, I can slice them. But the first thing I can do is stab, because the point's the closest thing to get to. Second thing, I can cut. Third thing, I can get this slicing action. Either whole slice or approach slice, whatever. And again, these are just conceptual ways to think about measure and interact with another person. So that first measure is the most important. Meaningfully interacting with your opponent's sword. Finding the bind, cutting into the sword, coming to a bind, blah, blah, blah. Finding the sword. And all these euphemisms, all these ways to think about I want my sword touching yours. Why? Why do I want my sword touching yours?
So, because you have no control of the situation.
Yep. Got it well. What's that?
I just thought about it, but that's a rare thing.
Yeah.
So,
You have more control of the situation. You can be safer. You know where their sword is and what the sword is likely to be able to do. Finding the bond, finding this interaction with the sword. Go ahead and grab your sword for a moment, Jeff. We don't need masks. Just this idea, if our swords are touching, I don't need to look at Jeff to know what Jeff is doing. As long as I'm in contact with the sword, I know roughly where it is. And I can do things to make it. And that's, the Germans call it fühlen, or feeling, because you're feeling the sword. You're using the sword as an extension of yourself. And this is actually a fairly safe place to be, because you can only hit the other person. That's a lie. That's a lie because people do this badly. If you are conscious of your body position, you can hit the other person while being safe. While their sword cannot interact with you. You can bring around the other side, cut back the head, blah, blah, blah. Lots of fun stuff that we're going to get to next. The week after the fundamentals class, where we really play working the mind.
so the bind is when the sword,
Yes.
when you're interacting.
Yep. When the swords are interacting.
I think it's the means too. So we both cut in, like meat. And then you go, and then you make movement, and then they wrap, that was, you're not.
Yep. So, for example, the thing that we've just been doing, when Jeff had said, I'm in the spot. And from here, I might want to come in, push me off. That gives me this moment, because I'm feeling that pressure to cut. And as you do sparring, fencing, whatever you want to call it, drilling, you're going to feel that moment faster and faster. So you'll get to this one where, something, you're going to feel it, you're going to be able to respond, you're going to be able to do the next thing. The genius of Fiore's system, and body, and Maruxa, and the German system, is that it is giving us the best practices so that without having to think much about our actions, we can do the next thing that we want to do. So, he comes in, he wants to see that line. Okay, we're in this position. I'm feeling some pressure, so I'm going to cut around. I'm going to do the same thing. But now we're back in the middle. Well, Fiore has the next thing to do, which is going to be cut down and step. Or step into the cut, or into the blade and cut down. And if you're a little farther away, then you cut down to the hands and stab in the gut and then pull it out. but it's this flowing, and you know, we can do that again. One out here. Oh, there's this moment of pause. I'm gonna grab the blade, just pull it away, just kind of. Yep. Crazy, right? Silly, right? But it all flows from one to the next, to the next, to the next. It's all interconnected. It's all interchangeable. Yeah. Questions?
Grabbing the blade, is that
Totally safe.
total?
Totally.
As long as it's not moving towards you.
With the caveat, as long as the blade is stopped moving.
Okay.
So, we come in, we're here. There's this momentary pause as something's happened. Oh. Huh.
Okay. You're grabbing it like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're not
By the
like.
way, you can grab it like this, too.
Yeah, okay.
That was Britain's old one, and it's going to be. That's where This doesn't cut.
That, yeah.
Movement cuts. I grabbed the blade actually a lot harder than I wanted to. But it, yeah, it'll leave a mark, but it's not going to cut unless it starts moving.
Yeah. Friction.
Movement's not friction.
Well, I mean, if you want to get into the minutia, wouldn't the sharpness of the blade,
Separates.
so then what's friction is the
Friction is
resistance between two objects moving against each other.
friction is what causes the shearing, but the sharper the blade, the less friction it cut. Which is why scalpels are so sharp, so it makes it a cleaner cut. Also why cuts made with the blade, like scalpel and knife and sword, have to be stitched. Because the cut is actually too clean, and it inhibits the binding of the flavor whistle. Meanwhile, something like road rash or abrasion is really good at coagulation because it creates lots of these frayed edges to really polish apart.
Yeah.
I was a biochem major, so I know way too much about this. All that to say, grab your blade, totally safe. I recommend doing it with rubber gloves, which we should be using whenever we're fencing anyway. But, yeah, no, it's safe to grab as long as the sword is moving. Doing this thing, terrible idea. Oh, even wearing gloves, it's a bad idea. And I have felt bad for hitting people in the hands too often when they do that. Because the day after, or even the day of, teaching everybody, all right, come here, it stops, do this. The day of the next class, during the free spars, all right, ah! Yeah. Did you do that? I did that when I first practiced this.
I don't think I've ever done that. I tried grabbing the blade a couple times and it ripped out of my hands. But I don't think I've ever tried to catch one in midair. I don't have the button.
Catch one midair? Yeah. Well, that's a terrible idea. All right. That's a tangent. Mask and gloves, because I'd like you two to play around with this, where you're both stepping in, one of you stepping in is making the other person's reacting and not getting hit. First rule of swords, don't get hit. Second rule is debatable, but usually boils down to make them pay. Use one or the other, I don't care which one. I like you to do, if you find yourself crossed at the end of the sword, go for one of those two plays. Stab with mace, cut around. If you find yourself closer than that,
Yeah.
see how things change. See how it's more difficult to step around and cut around. How stepping into it and thrusting in changes.
You're gonna come on me.
We're gonna go.
I got it, okay.
But yes, Jeff, you are doing the passing step for the cut. So it's not just the sword, you also have to move the body behind the sword. I know, giving you lots of things to think about all at the same time. There it is. So, again, why didn't you hit it in the face?
Step. Okay. Nice, stepping.
You're getting sort of thrown in your face, so there's a lot there.
I'm always gonna go first. You go. I'm gonna go first.
Yeah, Sean, you're going to address this time. For the next like 5 passes, you get to make the passing step like that.
Okay.
And if you see the opportunity to stab in, go for it.
There you go.
Yep.
If you can beat me to it and hit first, hit me first. I get it cut up. I hate cutting out with the sword.
So Jeff, I'm going to give you a little something. You can always Shakira that kind of around.
You was probably being running.
Yep.
I was thinking about that. Yeah.
Pause. How terrifying was that? I'm not sure if you saw his body language.
I looked down like,
Yep.
Wasn't prepared for that.
So when you had done that and Shakired it out, his body language, what was that? No, it was perfect. It was exactly what you were supposed to do. I want to do 2 more exchanges and pop masks because I have the second hand to talk about. Yeah. Nice.
I wanted to see you hit it.
All right, pop masks. Minor tangent.
Yeah.
Before the tangent I actually want to take. The purpose of that seeking the sword is to, find it and be safe. Second reason is, it is now a threat in front of the other person. If they do nothing, just stab it. As if you had got that line, just continue it. Because if they do nothing, you stab them, they have lost the game. The other tangent that I actually wanted to go on. We are sword fighting. And with sword fighting, there are lots of philosophies. I'm going to give you the 2 that I work with most often. The first philosophy is the 4 virtues of a sword fighter. They're on our logo, prudence, audacity, fortitude, and celerity. Or celerity and fortitude. Prudence, audacity, celerity, and fortitude. Yeah.
Do you have any animals associated with it?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So, the four virtues. Prudence is associated with a lens. The lens was thought to be able to see into the future. It's not caution. It's forethought. It's being able to know what's going on, how things work, and being able to get into a sword fight and hit the other person because you know what they are going to do, what they can do, what they're likely to do. Prudence and fullness. And literally in medieval iconography, medieval animism, the lens was thought to be able to see into the future. Audacity is the line. The audacious heart, the courageous heart, the one that will never back down from a fight. It's not that they go out and seek fights. They're not like, Jeff, we'll beat you up. But it's Jeff having an audacious heart, Jeff, I'm going to beat you up. And him going, all right, I accept the challenge. Let's fight. It's also the audacity and the trust in your sword and your techniques. It's the trust that when I make this cut, or when I make this cover, it will do what I believe it's going to do. I step into the attack. I don't retreat from the attack. I'm being audacious. I'm being the lion heart. That's why, all the things are like, I'm a lion! Yeah! I know what this means in neo-animism. Celerity, speed. It's represented by the tiger. And the tiger holds an arrow, or sometimes a pair of thunderbolts in his paws. By the way, anything like natural animals, we'll see that in a moment. But it's speed. No one is quicker than I. It's speed of the hand, speed of the foot, speed of the thought. Being able to react quickly, move quickly, do things quickly, and audacious, and with force. And then fortitude is the elephant. The elephant in medieval animism was thought to not have knees, and on its back was a castle. It was strong. The only way to get an elephant on the ground is to knock it over. And it's the elephant. It's kind of hard to do, but it's fortitude. It's not just strength, but resilience. It's strength and resilience. It's this whole package. So that's why they're on our logo. Prudence, audacity, celerity, and fortitude. They are the four virtues as described by Fiore on a segno as things that you should aspire to have, things you should bring forward. I really like the imagery. I like presenting it because it's poetic and it's admonishing us to be better selves. It's not telling us to be a dick. It's not telling us to just brute force everything. Because if it was just brute forcing everything, it's like, fortitude and more fortitude. Maybe some celerity. It's that balance, forethought, courage, speed, strength. To round this out. And we all suffer from something or another. For me, it's sometimes just not thinking ahead, not realizing, oh, I'm not actually sure what they're doing right now. Which brings me to the other side of the philosophy, the poisons of the mind. Bryn brought this from Canada. And the four poisons of the mind are confusion, fear, doubt, and surprise. And these are the poisons of mind. These are the things that get in our way of us doing the thing we want to do, winning the sword fight, or landing a good job. Fear is pretty easy. It's understandable. Like, I don't want to get hit by the sword. I'm afraid of getting hit by the sword. And it could be or I'm afraid of hitting the other person too hard. And it could be a conscious thing, it could be an unconscious thing. It could be a hard stop. I'm not going to hit you at all. Or it could be an unconscious thing of when the sword's coming in, that flinch response. Because you know what's going to happen. You're anticipating it negatively. Confusion. Again, pretty straightforward. Confusion. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. I don't know how I got here. I don't know what brought us here. I don't know what to do from here. Doubt. Doubt is the exact opposite of what that state. It's being uncertain, not trusting yourself, not trusting your technique, not trusting your sword, not trusting your gear, not trusting the people you work with, not trusting yourself. I doubt. That's the word. It's why instead of coming up with that step into the parry, you're like, oh shit. They don't trust. Or hedging your bet and make that cut. It's like, oh, if I had just actually extended, I would have hit the other person. But I didn't trust it. And then surprise. Surprise is the, well, I didn't see that coming. That was fucking new. Being surprised about what the other person is doing. I mean, there's some characters out there. You're going to get somebody in full kit. So imagine all the gear. And they're just going to go, ha! Okay. And they're going to pull off something that's just going to surprise you. Something you've never seen before. Now, the longer we do this, the more we practice, the more we learn from other people. Not just in club, but going to other clubs, learning from other people. The more we learn, the less we get surprised. I mean, surprises still happen. But when I face Stephen Chang, who's like 6'4" and has the reach of your goddess, I'm not surprised when he hits me and I can't reach him. Yeah. But I'll be surprised by that all the time. Because he's just going to pull something out and I go, huh? I wasn't expecting that.
Or I have to, I'm not getting confusion, so I have to make a surprise.
So these four virtues and these four poisons of mind, they're kind of in balance with each other. The virtues want us to be better, want us to be better swords, and want us to be better people. And the poisons of mind are the things that are putting us back, things that we need to confront. One of my biggest poisons in the past, it's not, I've got a little better under control now, is doubt. And not doubting the techniques. I trust the techniques, but for a good long while, I doubted I was a good instructor, a good swordsman. I doubted that I belonged in a position of leadership. I didn't have much choice because I take a position of leadership or it's not happening. So, which, that's the entire imposter syndrome. I believe I'm supposed to be that doubt. Or maybe it was a little bit of fear. I was afraid when I was teaching people badly doing a disservice to them. But I work through it, and I go, okay, these are what I'm dealing with. And looking internally and externally for ways to get past it. I know Jeff says confusion, which is why I will often do things like, okay, I'm going to spar 25% speed, and think about what it back. I don't know what your always in mind is. Now, if something comes out of you, cool. If you're like, no, that's not good. Cool. We'll figure it out. What is that introspection? Is that how we learn swords, how we grow, or the swordsmen and as people. So, yeah, that's the tangent I want to go on. I'm going to get to kids again on Saturday because it's part of this portion of fundamentals, but it's something that I need to bring up more often because everybody should be checking in with themselves. Yeah. All right. Any questions about what we've done over today? Or philosophy that I've just thrown at you?
Not really a question. I'm still not used to sort of being flying at me, so I definitely have that hesitation still.
Yep.
But again, I feel like that's going to get better over
Yeah.
time. So.
They had to have that mind, but, oh, I know how to feel.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I have to trust
Yeah.
the thing on my head. I'll figure out poison.
Oh yeah, and it changed.
Probably plenty of.
Like the voice that you have when you start changes to different things as you grow and learn. And you might cycle back to an old poison every now and then.
Right.
I know I do. Yeah. All right. So we're going to salute out because is correct. Because it's about 8:30 and it's going to be a little bit of open floor time. We're going to play with swords. That's years. All right. Any questions, comments, and buts, or FUs? Did you learn something? Did you have fun? Thank you very much for class. The floor is open. Good people. Oh, yeah, I'm here now.
What's that? No, I was going to say, we mentioned confusion, I first thought of it. Oh, Jeff made an attack. Jack hurt yourself. Confusion.
Just confused.
Yeah.
He hurt himself.
I didn't have the conflict, like, swirled over my head.
So, that is hilarious for a reason you don't even know. There is a tendency to do beginner tournaments. And beginner tournament is, or rookie tournament, I don't know what it's called. It's intended for people who don't, who haven't competed or haven't experienced success in tournaments. With most rookie tournaments, you are given a coach, an experienced fencer, or an instructor, usually from another club, not from your own club, to help you through the tournament, give you feedback, give you advice, give you coaching. Like, hey, this person is doing this thing. You should do this to counter it. Hey, keep your shoulders back. Keep that good posture. Those instructors usually, because we're all nerds will usually refer to their newbie as their Pokemon. Now, it's not universal. Sometimes it kind of feels that way, man.
Well, I mean, I guess I am here. You're like, okay, Sean, use your step gathering step.
Sean, gathering step, and then take them in the head.
Oh, Sean missed. No. Oh, man.
Sean, we're gonna come at you. Harry, when they get too close, grab them and throw them to the ground.
Sean's defense moves.
Nice. Thinking of like Pokemon. I'm fine.
That's the key all along. Screw was a philosophy.
The very best. But no one ever was.
Alright, well that's fine. I have to use the Pokemon theme song.
That's really
So, if you want to spar, we can do mass blow sparring, which is, it's lower intensity, so we don't go as fast, and, well, this is like your third class.
Yeah, sure.
I'm fine, if you want to, I'm fine also doing 25% speed.
Yeah.
But if you want to go not full speed, but if you want to go.
That's only about half to 3/4, a little bit on the 3/4, a little over half.
Yeah.
So, we're going to take personal philosophy, we're playing with swords. You're not having fun. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
And the other side of that is like, people take offense to me saying we're playing with swords. I'm like, it's a game. There are points.
Yeah. Yes, objective, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, people
Take it real seriously, like, we're like cheating!
I think there's a desire within the gamer community to see gamer rise to become on level with Olympic fencing or with other.
There's a desire for legitimacy, a desire for historical realism.
Yeah.
Tournaments are historically realistic. Like, you're not necessarily trying to kill people, but especially at the end of the battle, because people are goddamn expensive. And they're also great to ransom. All right. 5 changes.
Sure. I felt like it was just a glance. I'm going to just knock off all my points for these fencing.
That one was on your
Oh, okay. I didn't feel it. I mean, you gotta put it on and slice down, I guess. I don't know what it was.
That was a crappy slice to your fingers. Yeah.
Flat. I laid it flat.
Yep. ready to cut the arm. Ah, nice. One more. One more. Flat. Cross right. Ah, good day. I just put it on. Good match. Which one was in my defense?
Doesn't matter.
That's just what that's you, I see.
Way to go. So, are we going full speed?
No.
Yeah.
Take slow.
No, you're just playing. There we go.
Oh, you want me to do something? Two more. There you go. Oh, sorry, that was your elbow. It's okay. It didn't hurt.
Is your elbow okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, last one. Thank you very much. Well done.
All right, Sean, you ready?
Okay.
Grab him, jump around like a monkey, confuse him, it'll be great.
If I could do that, if somebody would use that to change their guard and be in position, just press forward. Catch them off guard. Oh, thanks. Oh, sorry, that was a little hard, mate.
It's all right.
All right, one more.
Yeah.
Nice. Good fight.
I'm going to do my shoulder.
Ah, I know. Come on. All right. How are you?
Recording.
All right. Ready? Now I'm going to be watching his feet, not his sword. Body, I guess I should be in general. You're watching his body, not his sword. Yeah. Nope. No, it doesn't count. It was parallel.
But Sean, you don't have that restriction. You're just trying to hit me.
Okay.
You just get a point. No. I don't know. You're gonna have to be judged. I can't tell what's the quality.
All right, I'll actually pay attention.
Nice. Point for Sean. Good thrust. I don't know if that got probably not.
You caught him in transition. His feet were perpendicular to you when
So
you
it's
actually
gonna
landed.
count.
So it's going to count.
Okay. 1-1. I want to say yes because I saw that. I think I'm going to give that to you because I had, I was pressing actively into my hand, actively chopping my fingers off.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my bad. I'm sorry. That's a little hard.
It's okay. I'm doing this willingly.
Well, I still safe.
Thank you.
You got there. There you go. Ah.
Oh, that was way good. That was my bad.
I'm running into you. You're running into me.
Yeah, you got that.
One more.
No, that didn't count for Jeff.
Didn't count.
No, didn't count. Keep going. Always keep going. Never stop.
Okay, never stop, never shudder.
Yep.
it
Well
does.
done.